This is the Blaster Talk Show with Hannah Murray. Blaster Talk Show makes your day amazing.
Hi everyone and welcome to Blaster Talk Show. My name is Hannah Marie and today I'm hosting an amazing rock band, Sunset Kings. Hi and thank you for your time. Can you tell me how did the band come together?
Yeah, no problem. We met in college while playing in different jazz groups. In the summer of 2015, me and the band started recording a bunch of songs I had written. And I was making money going to a bunch of shows and open mics, talking to singers and showing them the demos. I started to realize, though, that people were way more responsive to talk if they saw me perform first, so the band and I started playing shows as the Sunset Kings.
Can you describe your band and your music in one sentence?
The Sunset Kings are a rebellion against silence as complacency, violence as compliance, and separation through discrimination.
All right, and is there one person who is the leader, so to speak? Or do you work and write together, tossing ideas around?
There isn't one leader. One of my mentors used to tell me that in a strong team, you can't tell where one person's leadership ends and another's begins. For the music, typically, I'll start building around a melody and lyrics I have. All the space on my phone is taken up by voice memos. Ben will start building off those first ideas.
All right, and how do you stay focused and avoid some common band disagreements, including writing, recording, and also making the decisions?
It's a lot of adaptive riffing off of one another. That's what makes each song unique. It takes a lot of trust in each other, but also the stakes make everything that much more real. Delegation is key, and we've been around each other for so long that most times it happens naturally without us even verbally communicating it. One minute I'm recording saxophone, I'm feeding off of the hype I'm getting from the band, I'm feeding energy into the band. Then another minute I may be filling in as a producer or engineering the session next. That feeling of someone having your back doesn't happen in the studio, in the rehearsal space, or even on the stage. It happens way before that, and caring about other people means doing that work as much as you can off stage.
Do you collectively have a favorite song?
I'd probably say Acid Rap by Chance the Rapper.
Yo, definitely.
It was the first album Star and I listened to straight through together. I remember being awestruck by how creative and unique all the songs were independently, and yet all connected.
We'd spent an entire Saturday morning busking in Harvard Square, made about $400 playing in front of an ice cream shop. And we were sitting down in the living room at our house, breaking down this album while counting wadded up dollar bills. What a fucking time.
All right. And can you tell me, is there any hidden meaning in your music?
I'm pretty sure no one's going to find any hidden messages about investing in GME and holding the line if they play the songs backwards. Especially tracks 6 and 9 on our first album. There is an underlying motivation behind all the songs, though. There are pieces of an overarching story being told across the albums. Each song is an interpretation of real conversations and connections with people in our lives.
For sure.
And for all the upcoming bands, can you tell us what the secret is of keeping a band together for so long?
Always serve the music, more than your egos. That's pretty much it.
Keep adapting, keep listening, keep making space for more people in your life. Get hungry about experiencing new things. Know that you may feel the same from year to year, but repetition still breeds growth.
Sounds amazing. And can you tell me, where do you find your artistic inspiration?
So I invest a lot of time and energy into exactly what I'm doing at any given moment. A lot of times that means letting my phone ring into an abyss, because when I'm with you 100%. You never know where inspiration will come from, so you just gotta keep your eyes and ears open.
A lot of my horn parts are a mixture of on-the-spot insights and melodies I've heard during road trips. Star and I are both very visual people, artistically speaking, so we watch a lot of movies and a lot of shows, and I put them onto a lot of anime. Even that inspires all sorts of conversations that can lead to new songs.
And can you tell us, when can we expect a new album or maybe an EP? Do you have any plans for new music?
Yep. We're working on an EP for the summer in the midst of promoting shadow work in Technicolor. Quarantine was good for me in the sense that it gave me time to experiment and make mistakes, making me real clear and concise about my production skills. We got to the point where I was mixing and producing a new track every week to release on YouTube, and I'm feeling the most creatively free as I've ever been. So,
And can you give us more information about your latest song? Like, where was it recorded, and was it specifically inspired by anything or anyone?
our mixtape, Shadow Work in Technicolor, was inspired by really tough events. My father got hit with a particularly bad case of coronavirus, and I ended up leaving Boston to help handle things in Texas while he was in the hospital. I thought about life, what life would be like if he died, because I'm a Scorpio, and I hadn't really had a close relationship with my parents since I left home in high school. And that opened up a lot of reflecting for me, particularly about how the band and I grieved the death of our bassist, Shag, in 2018. Thinking about the brevity of life had me thinking about other things too. How people chose to support me or not during this time. How I may have contributed to those things. Focusing a lot on being easier on myself. All of that manifested itself as me recording the mixtape in my parents' home in Texas while remotely coordinating getting parts from a bunch of our friends in Boston.
And what is one musical goal that you have had for this year?
To stop apologizing for existing. I'm here, I'm thriving, and I'm proud.
Mine is to build an economy around my music. Like, we're getting to the point where a lot of our friends can't just hang around on dead time. And I'm working super hard now to create a cash flow that can support an environment where our friends and other creatives who we meet can continue learning from each other.
Can you recall the moment when you thought you could be in this group?
The first time we all had a jam session sparked everything, honestly. We had great chemistry, so we went with it. The name was actually the easiest part.
For me, it was a show we played at this now defunct, but still legendary artist space in Cambridge, right between MIT and Harvard Square. It's called East Meets Words. I went to shows there before I ever thought I'd start playing music again, and when I was on that stage with my band, I remember moving with this clarity I'd never felt before. I felt inspiring, seen, and connected to all these people sharing that moment with me in the audience. We're still friends with a lot of them.
And do you all hang out socially apart from the music? Like, when you aren't working on any music, do you guys hang out for fun?
Oh, absolutely. Star and I are fairly close. We know each other's families, and they've been there for me through a lot of my lowest points.
Yeah.
One of the strangest things about 2020 was that we lived in different states. We're so used to being around each other all the time. While recording together, I actually flew down to Texas and stayed with Alistair. We found an old Nintendo 64, hooked it up to one of those boxy TVs that weigh a ton, and played a lot of Mario Kart. And talked a lot of trash.
A lot of trash. That's actually where all the lyrics come from.
And where do you think you're the happiest? In the studio recording, or maybe on stage performing, or elsewhere?
I'm happiest in a space that has a balance of creativity and challenge. As long as I'm growing and pushing, a lot of different situations make me happy.
For me, it's definitely the kickback right after performing.
What do you hope people continue to take away from your songs? And what do you hope is the message of your music?
I hope that people see that real life isn't as pretty as the movies. There are ugly sides and shadows, but that's what makes it all the more amazing. You won't always be the winner, and sometimes you are the villain. Just remember that doesn't mean that things can't change. You're the one writing your story.
Yeah, real life isn't as pretty as the movies. But it's just as much worth experiencing once you make a conscious choice to participate. More than anything, I hope the songs have a chance of finding people at the right time that they need it.
Are there any funny stories that happened to you while traveling together that you want to share with us?
I mean, honestly, there's so many. Star and I have clocked in hours upon hours of driving together. There's a time we went to a blues bar in Chicago, or The time we played in the old Vegas Strip.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what I'd rather share is how much music we've connected over while driving. We would collect playlists and albums to show each other, anticipating the hours we're going to be in a car together. And we'd call it our hyperbolic time chamber. One time, I remember we played 2014 Forest Hills Drive on repeat until we learned every single ad-lib.
Yeah.
Then we didn't play it again for the rest of the trip, but one of us would just randomly yell out a Cole ad-lib to cut through the repetition of the road.
All right, guys, thank you so much for your time. It was great having you here on Blaster Talk Show, and I will be happy to talk to you again anytime.
Hannah, Blaster Mag, thanks for having us. Thanks for taking time to ask questions.
Of course, this was Sunset Kings, and we would also like to thank our listeners. Thank you for listening. This was Blaster Talk Show with Hannah Marie. Have a nice day and stay tuned.
Make sure to follow Blaster Magazine on Facebook and Instagram. Would you like to be our guest? Contact our press team today.